Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Matic TV. Welcome to today's live stream. Slightly earlier than normal, but we are just moving things around to coincide with the Euros, making sure everyone can get a good viewing of the games that they want to see. Saeed picked this one really because of the game that's going on right now, where I don't think there's loads of interest in Austria, Macedonia.
Yeah, it's on, but it's just there in the picture, isn't it?
Yeah, you can only watch so many games, can't you?
No,
I was thinking of doing a watch along for the England one. Then I've seen about 8 different watch alongs up on YouTube at the same time. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put my feet up and just try and enjoy some football. But on today, as you can see, we've got my man Keane in the top corner. We've got Mary from She Devils United and my man Saeed from Saeed TV with us. How is everyone? How's the football been for you guys so far?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Anyone standing out for you so far, Keane, mate? Who's been the most impressive?
I really like the look of Italy the other night. I said on my show that they're my dark horses because obviously you see the likes of Belgium, so you see the likes of Germany and that in the tournament who are going to be fancied. But like looking at Italy, they look like a well-drilled team and they could go far.
Yeah, it was. I think we all know Zeke on our show and everything. We did talk about it. They have got a quite talented team, Turkey, but it may just be 1 or 2 tournaments too soon for that crop of players that they've got coming through. There will be a time, possibly. On the other hand, Mary, we had Belgium, the oldest squad in the competition overall, showing us that it's a bit of experience doesn't go amiss in these competitions, putting Russia completely to the sword last night.
They absolutely battered them. It was easy for Belgium. It really was, because I was expecting a lot from Russia because they had a great qualifying tournament. They finished second and they scored 33 goals in the qualifying phase, so they had scored a lot of goals. I was expecting a lot. They have some very good players, but they got dominated and it was easy. And Belgium for me are always like the bridesmaid, never the bride. How were they ranked number 1? Because I mean, they'd never bloody won anything, but we know the talent they have because a lot of them playing in the Premier League and some former, including Man United players. Lukaku looked dangerous as well. Even Hazard only played 10-15 minutes getting back into the rhythm. So they do look dangerous, but I do worry defensively because, I mean, they're aging, but their youngest player is 25. I couldn't believe how old their squad is. So maybe if the tournament progresses, it'll start showing the signs of them aging. And I worry about the Italian, the back 2 for them as well, because they are, like, I don't want to be ageist, but they are old. But Italy, I have to agree with Keane. I was so impressed with them. I didn't know much about their squad until I did the preview on our channel, and I saw all their players and I was like, oh my God, their squad is amazing. Turkey looked so poor in that game too, but Italy looked absolutely superb. Now they struggled to break them down, but once they got the first one went in, they absolutely battered them. So I was impressed, but I'm excited to see. I'm actually buzzing to see Scotland tomorrow. I can't wait to see them because I actually think Scotland could qualify from their group and do something because they do have a good squad. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, Saeed's there. He's got the wows going. Really, Saeed, mate. I'm going to come to you, mate. Old Angleterre today. 1-0 against the Croats. Perfect start. You cannot ask for a better start. You don't want to be good straight away. You want to just get a win, be crap, and just, just simmer all the way through the competition. Simmer. But let's look at it this way. Mary talked about Scotland qualifying then, Saeed, mate. England are through. Third place, 4 third-place qualifiers, mate. I mean, all you have to do is win a game, and you're pretty much through to the last 16, because they've added the last 16 to the Euros this year, which I don't know if everyone knew about that. We always went straight to the quarterfinals, so it was always a bit more difficult. But this year, it is a lot straightforward, mate, for a lot of teams to get through. And you know what? England today, mate, I thought, you know what? I wasn't expecting much. The midday kickoff, piping hot. We knew what it was going to be like, mate. It was going to be one of them probably hard England first game of the tournament watches. But I think we're all just bothered about the win, mate, really, for England today.
Yeah, I think it felt like a bit like watching Man United at a minute. I've been waiting for honestly, it's but I think when you look at it in hindsight, I think the boys did well. You know, when you look at it, they were solid. They didn't get outrun in the midfield. A lot of people said Croatia, Modric ran the midfield. Yes, he did in a certain way, but I don't think if you're not hurting anyone, then for me, it doesn't really kind of do anything. I think we were resolute. I think Mings and Stones were solid. I thought Mount was clever on the ball. He took us forward, I think, a lot of times. And I thought Calvin Phillips was the man of the match for me. I thought he was very, very good.
Mate, we'll get on to him, because a lot of people said the same. I said it before. I thought from the get-go, for his first real international tournament debut, I thought, you know what, holding midfielder, decent value. I know we can't buy from Leeds, we're Man United, but this is what this show is going to be getting into. So if you guys think of anyone who stood out in a certain game that you think maybe worth a shout, I mean, I thought today above anyone, mate, and there were some well-known names in that England team there today, but like you said, mate, he didn't look out of place. Now, I will put this out. I mean, I think Croatia's time is gone. Their little golden generation is coming to an end.
Yeah, it's coming to an end.
Clinging on to Modric and Perisic. I mean, they both look about 40. They both got grey hairs now. It is. You can always tell when your sort of generation's coming to an end. I think, like Mary said, Belgium's defence later on in the competition may come unstuck, because it's too much. It's too many games to rely on that old guard. But I mean, England, mate, bringing on Bellingham. I mean, Foden played well for me. Like you said, Phillips was solid. The back line, I can't remember Pickford making a save with no offside, mate.
Didn't do a save, you know what I mean? I thought, to be fair, I don't really kind of rate Mings, but I thought he did well. You got to give credit where it's due. I thought he did play well. I thought Stones was quite solid as well. I think in general, we were quite solid. I mean, I don't know if about winning the tournament, you can be a bit, that kind of defensive, and I think Kane has got to stay forward. I think he sometimes
I know what you mean, mate. You've got too many people, and you had Foden, you had ball carriers, Mount, Foden, and Kane was just getting in the way, I thought.
Exactly.
I mean? If he would just stick to his position, it's like Alien Tenor came over with super chat there, Keen, mate. I mean, Kane, 150 million? Nah. I mean, I don't look into it. I don't hype up too many players who have been who are in the limelight in these tournaments. Everyone starts off slow, I think, in terms of the big names. I mean, but one player who that England defence will come unstuck against, mate, I think, and will struggle against, is one of our old boys, Romelu. He had a blinder, mate. His touch all of a sudden is just, mate, it's crazy, isn't it, when a player moves from United and turns into a will beater.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I think Romelu Lukaku showed like how class he is in terms for 9, in terms of his awareness, in terms of his strength. I thought he showed that in abundance against Russia. He really did. And again, look, it probably showed what we were missing at some stages in terms of clinical striker. We could have done with that, but fair play to him. I think Conte is kind of giving him that ruthlessness that he was at United. Now I did see a couple of first touches yesterday that were still a bit dodgy. He still looked like he was wearing Timberland boots, but other than that, he is a goal scorer. It'd be interesting to see what happens when he comes up against, a France defence, against a Portugal defence, against a really top-class centre-backs. See what happens when he comes up against them. But even still, I still think he will grab goals in this competition. He'd be right up there for Golden Boot for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a Pepe and a Diaz is a different proposition altogether, Keane. I agree with that. That is a scary defence, that. When I looked at that, I mean, Cancelo obviously out now, but one of our boys, Dallo, has had double tournament opportunity now. Whether he's fit and raring to go and actually not fatigued is one thing, but you never know. These stranger things happen. We're all talking about bringing in right backs here, Mary, and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, a little surprise package or something happens in the tournament. Dallo gets drafted in, and you just never know. He could actually turn up and have as good a season, as good a tournament as he has good a season at AC Milan, because AC Milan are actually looking to invest in him now and put him forward. Should we really just be in that right back position? I mean, Trippier played today on, I think he was on the left, wasn't he, today? Yeah. And not on the right. I mean, God no. But, I mean, is it worth bringing back Dallo at least just to see?
No.
Or is he not a player for you?
No, he needs to go. Look, Ollie doesn't fancy him, first of all. I don't think he's good enough.
Would you bring in any right back at all, Mary?
Oh, I would, but 40 million for Trippier? No, get no way. I wouldn't pay more than 15 million for him. Honestly, he's decent, but he's nearly 31. I wouldn't pay more than 15 million. No, Celik that played yesterday or the other day for Turkey. He's at Lille. We were linked to him. He's valued at about 13 million. Just won the league with Lille. I would bring him in, or Max Aarons, who I highly rate. But if we're going to spend, and if we're going to spend like 35 million on a right back, I don't think we should anyway. But it has to be Aarons over Trippier. But I do think Trippier has had a good season, but 40 million, no way. We need a centre back, a CDM, and Sancho, so can't be spending that money on a backup right back.
Speaking of the man himself, Mary, not in the squad today. Apparently, I'm guessing it was a little knock.
He was in the stands, though. He was in the stands.
Yeah, he was in the stands.
No, he was doing his medical for us before the game.
So I knew you were going to say that. That's what a few people on Twitter were trying to hint at. We all know that's not the case. But
sadly,
it started off last week. We were about 20 million apart. Me and Owen were talking on Friday. It's gone down to about 10 million. And now, apparently, Mary, it's pretty much done and dusted. A lot of reports now saying, look, United and Dortmund are pretty much on the same track in terms of value now. It's just payment breakdown. Everything else is in place, and this deal could actually be done this week. I mean, we've all spoke about it so far. Does it feel like to you now, Mary, that this one is actually over the line? Are you sort of happy that we've got this one done quick? Because there's a lot of work that, like you just said, then that needs doing still.
Until like Fabrizio says, here we go, or I see him in the shirt, I'm still skeptical because it's Matt Judge, it's Ed Woodward. So I still have PTSD from the last however many years of Woodward and co. But I'm honestly that right, like until Greenwood started playing well in the last quarter of the season, that right hand side of our team was dead. Like it was dead. We had nobody. It was all down the left hand side. So I am buzzing if we get Jadon Sancho. I know some United fans don't want him. They'd rather the money spent elsewhere, but he is a world-class talent. He is so good. And I'm surprised he doesn't, again, I get a Southgate, so I shouldn't be surprised, but that he doesn't start for England because he is good enough to be their starting right winger for me. And that massively improves not only our squad, but our starting 11. And I cannot wait to see him in a Man United shirt because he is absolutely, I mean, he has something like 37 goal contributions in 38 games last season, 40 the season before. He's an unbelievable player and he'll massively improve our team.
Yeah, he's going to improve that front line. My ultimate fear is what happens then, because Said, mate, we're hearing today that, I think it was yesterday as well, that the Martial rumours are back out again, mate. I know. Yeah. I think this is the biggest divide, apart from David De Gea. This is the biggest divide in the United fan base. It really is in terms of a player and what people think should happen. He's still got value. With Sancho coming in, my worry is Greenwood, because I think Greenwood probably has more potential than anyone else in our front line. I don't want Greenwood to miss out if Sancho comes in, mate, because I think Greenwood's starter now. And I'm fearing, because Cavani's still there, he's signed, that Ollie will feel like he has to play Cavani in the front. So if Sancho comes in, Greenwood is a stayer. He's just signed his new deal. We know he's United through and through. He's coming into form. He was really unlucky he didn't make the England team. Rashford, say no more. I think it's not Lingard. It might be Lingard and Martial side at this rate.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on, man. We seem to have Phil Jones still in the books. You know what I mean? It's like we need centre backs, CDM. Still got the McFred still hanging around. And it's almost as if we're taking out people that we shouldn't be really like focusing on. Like Martial, I've always said for me, it's got one more year.
Yeah,
I'm going to give him one more year, and if he doesn't play up to the potential again, then for me, you've got to sell him. You know what I mean? We can't be having passages in our team. But again, we're dealing with that, and then we're dealing with Lingard. You know what I mean? That's going to, for me, going to take a chunk of our summer. Is he going? Is he not going? And, you know, listen, I think Sancho will happen. Listen, you know, I just don't think Man United can absolutely flop this. I think they will get him. But the thing is, how much of our budget is going to go on to Sancho? And that's my worry. I just look at it. I've not seen a CDM being linked anywhere. I've not seen a centre back being linked anywhere. I think it will literally be Trippier and Sancho this summer, and then I think they'll just work with what they've got, in terms of, what's it called? But then again, Donny van de Beek's been linked with Arsenal. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Mate.
You know what I mean?
I was going to leave that one to Keno then, actually, mate, because
like
you said then, Said, mate, it is a bit of a concern that for some reason the whole focus is on our front line. I'm like, why? When everything seems logical with this football club, it just goes the opposite way. What are they watching that I'm not? And nearly a million other fans are watching as well. Because Keane, mate, I'm looking at going Martial, Lingard, Sancho, what's happening? Where are we fitting Greenwood in? We're talking this front line. We've got to be able to get the ball to them first, mate. That is a big part of getting them in the game. And we're hearing that one of our creative midfielders in Donny van de Beek is linked to Arsenal. Someone actually asked me the question on Twitter the other day, and I said, not at the moment. I don't know what you think about this.
Oh, goal.
Who scored? Which one of the big guns?
North Macedonia.
Austria scored.
Is it?
Oh, it's
Austria.
It's Austria. Austria. I was going to say.
So Mary's got her kits mixed up. That's what it was.
It's Austria.
Yeah, you'd expect them to win, wouldn't you? I mean, are they Holland's group? They are, aren't they?
Yeah, it's live
Holland's group, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, getting back to it, Holland playing tonight. Sadly for us, key mate, we're not going to see Donny, who's had to pull out the squad, as we all know. But another creative midfielder, supposedly on, well, if you listen to reports, looking like he might be going out. But again, I'll come back to the question that was asked the other day. Someone said, would you sell Martial if that money then went on the CDM? I mean, Keane, I'll ask you the same question, mate. Is it a case that we have got our money all invested in Sancho and to get the funds to buy for the other areas of the team that we really need, we are going to have to sell? And some of our prize assets are in that front line, mate. I don't see any value anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think when you look at the kind of fringe players, they don't give you much value, like in terms of the midfielders or the defenders. Martial, while I do decide Mary that give him one more year, I think that's fair. But if Real Madrid are genuinely interested in Martial and they want him, then I would give Martial to Real Madrid and maybe use that as a kind of a make way for Varane, because I know they're open to selling 60 million. So if that's the case, then by all means, 100%. Maybe, but go yes, I still think he's a lot to prove, and we're going to need depth in midfield for playing 3 a week like we usually will be next season. So by all means, get your spine right. Do not get rid of players who help strengthen that spine. So definitely don't get rid of Van de Beek. 100%. I'd be getting rid of Lingard before I get rid of Van de Beek.
I will be fuming if we get rid of Donny, honest to God. And if we're getting rid of Martial, it better not be on loan. Like Keane said, you swap him, you sell him, and you use the money for a defender or a CDM. You don't send him on loan because that's pointless, absolutely pointless. And you have to keep Donny because he hasn't even gotten a chance. That's absolutely ludicrous to get rid of him.
Here's one I'm going to pose to you now. I'm going to say, so Sancho comes in. We swap Varane for Martial. Tim, what do you think?
Timbo is in the house.
What's going on, people? It's been a while.
I just thought I'd break you an easy, mate. That's all.
It's been a while. So if I caught the tail end of that, swapping Varane for Martial, is that what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Do you think Real Madrid would go for it, though? That's the only thing. I mean, you're taking on a player who's clearly out of form. He's shown time and time again that he doesn't deal well with competition at his position. Is that something that they're going to want to do, or are they just going to want to take the money?
So this is it. I mean, I think Madrid, Ancelotti coming in. I think my reasoning behind it was the fact that Ancelotti will actually bow down to Perez. He won't kick up a stink like Zidane did. So is Ancelotti going to get everything he wants from Perez? Ancelotti's going to be there, a year at most at Real Madrid, the way they go through managers. Is this the time to strike? You know what I mean? Is this the right time to go? I mean, Said, mate, You've got to take advantage of a situation when it comes around. If we're going to lose one of our assets, we need to bring in another. And I think we all realise that Varane is the only centre-back. He's the only centre-back I would bring in from abroad right now, anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But I just look at it, I think, for me, you know, I don't think Man United have got that in their headspace, and that's the worry. I really do. I think that's the worry where I look at Man United, I don't think they're kind of looking at what we're thinking, because I kept saying it to myself, you know, and I think I tweeted last year, Man United have got 5 centre-backs, you know, or is it 4 centre-backs, you know, of quality. Like, you got Bailly, Tuanzebe, Aaron Maguire, Lindelof, obviously Phil Jones, you know what I mean? If you
there it is.
You know what I mean? Because he is going to include him. You just know, Ollie said we've got Phil Jones coming back. So, you know, Ollie's included him. You know,
like a new signing.
Yeah, like a new signing. So, yeah. So I just don't think that Man United are kind of looking at him, really, which is kind of a worry for me, because I look at it and think, damn, man, we need a centre back, and I just think Man United's priorities at the minute are not geared towards that. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's looking at thinking we need to score more goals to catch City. I don't know what you guys are thinking yet, but he's probably thinking if we can get more goals than City, we'll be able to win the league. Well, I don't think you can do that. I think you've got to be solid defensively, and in that midfield area, you've got to be solid. And I think, have we got that in the McFred? Have we got that in the Maguire Lindelof? I'm not too sure. So we'll be able to. It might be score 5, score a couple, but then we'll be like, I don't know, drawing games, and we don't really need to be drawing, do we?
It's funny. I was talking to Terry Dunfield today during the England game. Adam, someone we've had on your show, former City captain at youth level, you know, played with some pretty quality players. And I said, you know, Calvin Phillips having a dynamite game, and he said, yeah, but it's Declan Rice who just sits there and holds things and allows Calvin Phillips to get forward, and really Rice is really the one that's solidifying it. So kind of to what Saeed was talking about, you know, you need, if you have that quality CDM that's going to allow the likes of our creative players to get forward and really, really get at it and build, like Declan Rice, like he helped England today build and that quality CDM that we keep talking about.
I mean, everyone when that England team, when that England team dropped today, Mary, everyone's like, oh my God, this is just like Solskjaer. He's gone with his tried and trusted. He's gone with 2 holding midfielders. But like Tim said then, when you've got quality midfielders in that area, look how far Phillips played up. One dropped off, and then one was pretty much a number 10. There was no way near, and obviously he got the assist for the goal playing that way. Surely, I mean, I'm guessing Ollie's watching. He must be watching. But you've got a West Ham player and a Leeds player playing at the highest level, doing exactly what we need.
Both of them better than who we have in our double pivot right now.
This is it, mate. I mean, that today there showed me how that system can be played if you've got the right man in the right position.
Yeah, but I mean, 100 million plus for Declan Rice.
Yeah, we're talking Trippier scenario again, aren't we? We're just being priced out of it with English tax.
Plus, you know, but there are loads of other players out there that you could get, like Dennis Zakaria for Switzerland. He came on as a sub for 20 minutes and was unbelievable. He was like Yaya Toure. I swear, I got Yaya Toure vibes from him. He was so good in that 20 minutes for Switzerland. He was just running the show box to box. And he is versatile, and he's in the last year of his contract, 30 million. Why get Declan Rice when you can get him for a lot cheaper? There's plenty of them out there. Our scouts need to be doing their job. It doesn't always have to be the £100 million Brexit FC England player. There's loads of them across Europe. Now, one player today, Brozovic, I wasn't really impressed with him today, but I suppose it's just one game, but we have been linked to him too.
Yeah, I would leave that. I with you, Mary, on that. I would give that a wide berth, to be honest. That there was pretty much playing against the Premier League team, and it was an epic fail for me. I just think there's levels. I don't think Ollie's got time to integrate a player. Like I said, anyone coming from him, I think this is why he's looking closer to home, because he needs it now. There's no time for him to adapt these players in. I mean, Keane, Saul Niguez, another one who's available can be at the right price. I mean, is he another player there? I mean, Owen was talking about him the other day, waxing lyrical about him as another option for us. Is he that quality to come straight in and fit into a United team? Or is he the level of a Cavani and a Bruno Fernandes? Because they're the type of players that we need to bring into this team right now. We ain't got time for anything else.
The only thing I say about Saul, he's a very good player. And he's very good on the ball. You know, he has the physical limitations to play in the Premier League, but again, he's coming from a different type of system. He's in the very defensive, kind of rigid 4-4-2. Does he come into our system in a 4-3-3 if that's what we want to play next year? Like, will he have the time to integrate? I don't think so. And I think Ollie's under so much pressure now that he's going to need, as you said, players who can come in and make an impact straight away. Whereas I think Saul could take maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months before we see the best of him. Oh my God.
North Macedonia just scored. Shout out to North Macedonia.
Hey, I tell you guys, if you've got the 2 o'clock kickoff in this, don't bother watching them. Yeah, we only watched it because it was England. It only gets interesting past 5 o'clock England time. Believe me, these games in middays are awful.
Wow,
but when it gets past that 5 o'clock, then there you go. Watch them.
7 years old.
That's what football's all about.
Panda.
Love it.
That's it.
The people saying 100 million for Rice after an international tournament, if he keeps doing what he's doing, 100%, you know that they're gonna want top dollar for him. 100%.
I mean, this
look
is
at all
it,
the players that have gone for top dollar after these tournaments.
Oh, mate, and United have fallen into that trap side. Many a big international tournament, mate. It was like, he was absolutely brilliant in the tournament, and we ended up bringing him in. I go back all the way to '96. Karl Pavorsky.
Yeah.
Oh my days, man.
One for
Cleverson. Exactly. I mean, there's plenty out there, mate. I mean, anyone on the international scene right now, Said, and you think would fit the mould, in your opinion? I mean, are you looking forward to seeing anyone in particular coming up in the next few games?
I liked Locatelli. Good player, Locatelli. I thought he was decent. I enjoyed watching the young one in the midfield, Barella. I thought it was quite, for me, it's that sort of midfielder where he's got a bit of bite about him, a bit more, you know, it's a bit of an engine. And I think with Fred, you know, and McTominay, he's that person that we're looking for, but we can't seem to quite get. So I like them too. But I don't know, man, something about Phillips, you know. I don't know what it is, yeah. And I'm not just saying this off the one game because is it too slow?
He was good for Leeds, mate. It's not just one game, you're right.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about the player side, not you.
Oh, right, fair play, as I say. I thought, because my Wi-Fi's a bit dodgy anyway, so I thought, you know.
Mate.
I think for me, I've been enjoying watching Calvert-Phillips last season, but the only problem is, I think, is a Leeds through and through. I know we said about Alan Smith and all that, but this is different. He's Leeds through and through. I don't think his whole family members, what would they say about him? That's the problem for me. But I like him, man. For me, what we say too slow is having a system and having a player that he shouldn't be able to go past the halfway line. He shouldn't be doing that. He's there, sit in the defense, screen it, give and go. What Michael Carrick was never blessed with pace, but you know, he did what he had to do, and he was very good at it. So I think this ideology of you've got to be quick and you've got to be a DM. I never heard where that came from, but hey,
just a lot of anticipation.
As a DM, you can be a sticker.
Yeah, you're just reading play. That's your biggest attribute in that position, right?
Yeah.
Look at Prime the Nemanja Matic, right? Let's take away Man United Nemanja Matic, right? Let's look at Nemanja Matic played with Chelsea and Benfica. Not blessed with pace at all, but he always knew where to be as a defensive midfielder. He was a destroyer and he'd also distribute. So like, you don't have to be like N'Golo Kante where you're everywhere on the pitch and you cover every single blade of grass and you have miles of pace. You can, you know, once you're intelligent enough, that'll do. Once you have the intelligence and once you have the ability to take the ball under pressure from your centre backs, that's half the battle. Once you have competent midfielders in front of you, that suits the system. You don't have to be, you know, I suppose, deadly over a 100-meter sprint. So if you have the footballing brain, that's half the battle.
That's it. Win the ball, break out.
That's it. I mean, you look at it, Tim, mate, and you go, right, everyone's talking about the pace. Everyone's talking about the old players and everything like that. The brains are still there, but the legs can't carry them. Certain positions you can get away with it. I think Matic just clings on to that a little bit. But again, in terms of us and this summer, we're talking about the one matters again, the new contracts. Now, it has now been reported that he's going to have to take a 70 grand paid cut to get this contract. I mean, are you still in the boat of it doesn't matter? He's just taking up space and we're not going to use him. It's wasted money. Or is 70 grand enough for you to say, look, well, maybe in these certain games when we can't break down a low block, we can make it work? Or does it completely get kiboshed by knowing that Ollie's the manager and he's never going to play him?
Look, I'm all for loyalty contracts for players that have been around for a while. The problem when we do it is it's Glazernomics, and they know that it's cheaper for them to keep a player on a bit of a lower wage packet, or even wages maybe necessarily that the player wouldn't get anywhere else, but then you don't have to go out and bring anybody else new in, right? Like, I mean, you give Phil Jones a 4-year deal. They offered Ashley Young a contract and he turned it down. You know, the list goes on and on of players that that really shouldn't be, you know, we really shouldn't be offering new deals to, but you know, they've broken the mold of players over 30 always only got a 1-year deal for us. Well, they've thrown that out the window now. They give Nemanja Matic a 2-year deal, I think, the last deal that they gave him. So I wouldn't have much of a problem with it if I knew that we were going to go out and spend and strengthen in these positions. But you just know that they're just going to sign these players to these deals, and that's going to be their way of maintaining the squad, if you will. So that's the problem.
It is on the other end of the stick side, mate. We've got the young lads coming through. Hannibal coming through. Jimmy Garner does look like he's going back to Forest now, mate. So
is it? Right,
looks like we're not going to be getting our own Jude Bellingham, mate. But again, that's the old conundrum, innit? These older players taking over positions, reserve players getting in the way of the youth coming through, and us actually getting to see these players, because the only reason Bellingham did not come to Manchester United is because Dortmund offered him game time and the chance of getting in the England squad. Lo and behold, that's what happened. And United offered him money. So again, Said, mate, it's the system above Ole more, I would say, than Ole. But we all know he doesn't help himself because he won't change his team. Is it going to take a formation change to make this work, mate, next season? Because I talked about that front line before, Said, mate. I don't see Matt getting in. I don't see James getting in. I'm struggling to see. Why are we buying all his players then? I don't understand. How are we going to get? This is it, mate. The front line is being swollen up.
It's swollen up, man. I don't understand. Listen, I want the best players in this on Man United. I've always will do. But bloody hell, man, it's just like buying like unnecessary things in life when you don't need it. Do you know what I mean? Imagine just going to spending certain things and then you just don't need it. You leave it around in the house. You know what I mean? It's not great, is it? And for me, it doesn't show a kind of a structure to the football club. Because at the end of the day, where's Daniel James going to go? Where's these players going to go? You know what I mean? It just makes the kind of squad. You know the worst thing about it? Man United having more players makes the squad bad for Man United. Because I tell you why. Because for me, Ollie sticks with the first 11. And then B, when they come on, they're not match ready, or they don't have more match rhythm, or they're playing games like, I don't know, Watford at home, and it's only 1-0, and they don't really kind of take their opportunity because, you know what I mean, they've not had that match rhythm. I just look at it and I think Donny van der Beek was a reason for that last season. You look at Ahmad, he had here and there trickles, you know. Matic, you know what I mean, did here and there, but again, the legs were gone. You know what I mean? It's not mobile enough to not be playing one game in every 10 matches. It's not going to happen, is it? So for me, when I look at everything together, I just feel like Man United are throwing at it like they did every year. I really, really do. I think Man United at the minute are a product of their own worst nightmare, because what they're doing is Pogba, without no real structure, they threw him in there. Maguire, they threw him in there when reality, it didn't have a recognised, like, you know, centre-back partnership. Was it Bailly or was it Lindelof? You know, at least one thing is coming. Guardiola said to Diaz, right, Stones is your partner, and we're going to keep it as that. You know what I mean? I just look at it. We always buy players, and we don't know what we're doing. Listen, Sancho could be a success, but you can't be having Sancho, then a Cavani who's, for me, going to be leaving next season, and then you've got McTominay, then you've got Pogba, what we don't know about. It's all just a bit mishmash. Man United don't have a structure when they're trying to buy players. Like, you go and get players that are going to fit into the system, that are going to go straight into that team, not just go buy Donny van de Beek for him to sit on the bench. I don't want that. It's like Trippier, 40 million, and then he's going to sit on the bench because Wan-Bissaka is his favourite, isn't it? So I don't understand, honestly, man. I don't really understand.
We need a director of football. That's where a director of football.
Well, we got one, though. We got one.
Director of football.
Oh, yeah. Got
two.
Yeah.
We need a director of football. He's a yes man, Fred Woodward. That's what it is. We don't have a real director of football. We have a yes man.
We're not building a team. We're not building a team. You're just buying, like Saeed said, you're just buying him. You're buying Sancho to appease the fans to sell shirts. Like, he should be our third priority. It should be a CDM, it should be a centre-back, and then Sancho, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be Sancho, and then, like Saeed said, Trippier, and then we're probably going to go with that instead of addressing the positions we need with building a team and building a squad. But it's not. But bringing in a centre-back to partner Maguire, bringing in somebody in that double pivot, or bringing in someone to sit with Pogba if he's going to play in the double pivot, if he's going to sign a new deal, or a CDM to sit in there with Donny, and you start playing Donny, and you build that team, and you build it out from the back with the centre-back and the CDM. But we don't have it. There is no plan. There is no building a team. John Murtaugh, Darren Fletcher, give me a break. These people, they don't have a clue. Like Keane said, yes, men. And it's buying Sancho to appease the fans, to sell shirts with the number 7, and we won't address the positions that we need.
I suppose the bigger question now is, I mean, I'm looking at it, I break it down. I look at the international scene, and I look at the managers in them international jobs, and I go, they just watch football constantly. They're picking out everything that they're seeing. And I'm looking at United players, and I'll look at that United starting lineup, and I'll go, let's just use the final, for instance, from the Europa League, and I'll go, okay, these players and their international squads right now, De Gea, not number 1. Shaw doesn't get a start in the England team, even though he's played, according to us, he's played well. Are we missing a trick? I don't know. Maguire injured, probably would play, no problem. All I can see is Dan James, because Wales are crap. Scotland, because they've got no other midfielder there in McTominay. Pogba and Bruno, because Rashford's out of the England squad now. Martial can't get a first-team place in the French squad. Cavani, he's a legend. He's coming to the end. But that's our main striker now, who's retiring pretty much from international football after this tournament. And then I'm like, actually, is our team actually good enough in the eyes of these quality international managers? I mean, Tim, I'll come to you on that one, mate. We're blinkered, obviously. We rate our players because we support our team. We're supposed to. But if you looked at it and you broke it down from what players are being picked for their international squads, there isn't much there, mate. We're talking about building up our front line here. Like, we've got loads in this front line. It's fantastic. Yet when it comes to the international scene, mate, I can't see any of them. I don't see any of them at all.
Well, I think just to throw Greenwood into the mix too. I think if he was fit, he probably would have been in the last 26.
Would he have started today?
Probably not. But he might have been ahead of Jude Bellingham coming off the bench, possibly. So I mean,
would he have been ahead of Rashford, who can't even make the starting lineup now?
Well, I mean, and the thing is, for that one, it's debatable. The Luke Shaw one was debatable for sure. He started a right back at left back who was probably only on there for the set pieces, right? So I think that you could say that Luke Shaw, for me anyway, Luke Shaw probably should have been the first choice left back. But you make a good point about the other players, like, for example, like Martial. And I hate to keep harping on about Martial, but players like that, Dan James, he never should have been. He was a player that was bought, and how he just sort of got thrust into it with injuries and the fact that we didn't adequately replace that right-hand side. I mean, it's a player that is probably would have benefited from a loan spell when we first brought him in, similar to what we did with the likes of Palestri and and some of the other players that we brought in, sent him out because he came up from the championship. So I think that the players that we definitely have some good players, but it's like we've just been talking about is what the structure is. You need to build, and I heard Keen when I first came on, like getting the spine right and build out from there and have a structure as to how you want to build a team. We should have bought Sancho last summer. How this is carried into now three straight transfer windows of just complete speculation, the same thing over and over and over again, and it's become a running joke. We should have had a clear plan. We're going to get Sancho next summer. Now coming into this summer, we're going to go out and get, knowing that we have to strengthen that CDM role, we're going to get a CDM. There just never seems to be a transfer plan to build this team. I think that's the biggest issue, is what we all keep touching on.
Yeah, I mean, Saeed, what would give you confidence to say that the tide is changing in terms of our structure, mate? How would that work for you, mate? We can't do it in the summer. We have to be patient with it. I mean, I mean, would 2 players coming in this summer in the right positions tell you that, or maybe we are looking the right way? Or is it a case of we have to get rid of a lot of players as well? Would that be a sign?
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really adding Sancho in this year's transfer budget. That should have happened last year. I think for me, if they go and get a DM and a centre-back, for me, then I could say, you know what, right, okay, now, let's see if we can push on. If they go and do that, then, for me, then it's like, it's the team is good enough then. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you've got a centre-back that you wanted, and you've got a CDM that we clearly needed. So it's like, you know what, right, are we good enough to compete now? That would be like, let's go now. And then, but the problem is, that's the problem with Man United. They never make it easy for themselves. We've never, ever, the last, since Alex Ferguson's been here, even at Alex Ferguson's time, when was the last time we had a squad? For me, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be honest with you. Last time I see the proper squad was 2009, maybe.
2008 squad. 2008, that squad that should have won the treble.
There you go, then. For me, that was probably my best squad in the last, decade and a bit. For me, honestly, because I look at it, I think now, every squad since has been imbalanced. Never, ever have we had a proper squad. This looks like it could be that squad, but it's like it needs some selling and it needs some, improvement. But the problem is, can we do it? Why can't Man United do it?
This is it. Keen, why can't we do it, mate? Saeed's asked the question, mate. It's down to you. You've got to fix United right now, mate. How do you start this summer? What do you do, mate?
Come on, Keane.
Get rid of the Glazers.
Get Roy Keane in.
Well, the easy answer is say get rid of the Glazers, lock them up, put them in jail. But unfortunately, the justice system isn't right, so that's not going to happen. But look, I think, I suppose, get at least 3 players in. Get your spine right, and then get rid of some of the deadwood that's realistically not going to play and promote you out. The Matiches of the world, they're redundant at this moment in time. Bring through your Hannibals to replace a Mata. Bring through I know Garner's probably going on loan, but bring through a Galbraith then if that's the case to fill Matich's spot so you can save money on a Matic replacement. And strengthen your first team first and promote you out and get rid of the deadwood. That's what Man United are about. So at the end of the day, if you don't strengthen your first team, don't get your spine right, you're not going to challenge for a title. Because every team that wins the title has a strong spine, or at least challenges for the title. And if we don't strengthen the centre back and centre defensive midfield role, you can buy Sancho and we can all be happy and we can all celebrate till the cows come home. But essentially, if you can't get the ball to a Sancho, then signing them is redundant, really.
And clean up the set pieces, for God's sake.
I was just going to say, get a defensive bloody coach and get rid of Kieran McKenna.
Yeah, if we I think we're all resigned to the fact that Ollie is definitely going to be starting next season. Now he touched on it then, the coaching side of it. He has to really get some balls and start sacking a few of his mates and bringing in some help, because this is what it's all about. I mean, who's that guy behind Tim there? He looks like a decent.
Can you
pay CDM?
Yeah.
Who was that guy? Good defender.
Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy will do. Anything's got to be better than Lindelof.
Daisy in.
Oh, God. That takes me straight back to that picture of Matic next to Lindelof. You guys see it on social media that time of Matic with half his cheek bleeding and hanging out, and what it used to be. And then it panned across to Lindelof dressed in a dress with a wine glass, doing a pose on social media. It was like, and there's nothing, I'm not having to go at him and that, but I just don't see these guys in the trenches doing what they need to do for us. I really don't. And you know what? There's a few, I said there's a handful there at this club at the moment that could maybe challenge to get in some of our better teams over the years, but challenge, that's it. I don't think they'd start. None of them would start in, well, let's just say, I mean, that Ferguson team that won the league with Van Persie and Mooney, I mean, would any of our front line get in ahead of them?
No.
It's a no, isn't it? It's a no. I mean, the midfield you could question.
Ashley Young played on the left. Ashley Young played on the left that year. Would Rashford maybe get in there? I don't know.
Man, Ashley Young went to right back then.
Yeah, Antonio Valencia is on the right. Like, if we sign, let's say hypothetically, if we sign Sancho, he'd probably get in. But like, you really look at that, like Van Persie and Rooney centrally up front, probably no one gets in there.
No.
In other news, a bit of inside info.
Nobody.
If anyone is after a Rolls Royce, my cousin's friend is selling Jesse Lingard's Rolls Royce for him.
Hey.
Look into that, what you want, but the whole lot is up for sale. It's as simple as. But anyone who knows about these footballers' cars knows that they can't sell them because all they do is, like Saeed said, spend stupid amounts of money on nothing, getting all embroidery put into the seats and the stitching, and then no one wants to buy it because it's got J-Lings, whatever you want to put on the back of his seat in the level. Oh, God, I can't even make the sign. It winds me up that much. Oh, God, anyway. Before we go, guys, Tim, I didn't ask you at the start, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Your thoughts, standout performance so far in the Euros. Please don't say Lukaku because it just makes me cry.
Ireland.
I'm trying to. Yeah, Ireland. I'll give it an England one, I suppose. I touched on it, but you know what? I'm going to give it. I thought Calvin Phillips today was fantastic for me.
Yeah,
he was pulling strings. That ball, you could just see that run Sterling made today, and you were just hoping he saw it. The ball was well weighted. He was just active. The energy was good. I thought he was terrific. I'll give him my standout. But Italy looked good too. I'd say the whole.
Yeah. Oh, don't start. Keane will start getting a big head again. He will start talking about Italy like that. Keane's called it. Keane's pick.
I need to keep quiet. Twitter banned me the other day, so I need to keep quiet these days.
Hey, listen. If you go on to like Betfred and stuff, the odds for Italy to win are worth a bit of a.
Yeah, they were at the start, mate, as well.
They're 8-1, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Portugal were 9-1 at one point.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the Holland lads because Coop Miners and Gravenberch are two midfielders who we could do with at Manchester United.
Yeah.
That's our watch tonight, guys. Mary's got the scout watch on for everyone there. Get on to the Tangerines. Get on to the army. Let's get watching them.
The Orangutan.
Depay as well. We lost Depay.
Memphis.
Yeah, another player that maybe came a bit too early.
This is the problem. All these young lads going elsewhere seems to work apart from here. And you know what? We even touch on Diallo losing his place when Sancho comes in. What happens to him? I mean, I don't know how they're gonna fix it. I really don't. Debbie in the comments just said, then we need to call 999. I don't know how we get this squad and this team fixed in this summer.
If Sancho comes in, then does Diallo just back up Sancho and you move Mason to the number 9?
Yeah.
And then we put Dan James
up for
Matter.
Then maybe you can move Dan James to the left to back up Marcus, and James seems to do better on the left when he does.
Martial leaves.
Does that mean Martial's gone?
For me, I mean, I just how many chances do you give him? You know, I I don't like calling this for the players to be sacked or the manager to be sacked, but it just at some point I feel like it just becomes, the relationship is just broken.
Yeah.
I'd get rid of Dan James before I'd get rid of Martial, though.
What's that, Mary?
I'd get rid of Dan James before I'd get rid of Martial.
Fair.
But although Dan James did have a decent game for Wales on the left yesterday.
That's what I mean. When he's played for us on the left, I think he's better.
I just don't think I didn't think he played that well in that game either. I mean, my expectations of him are what they are. Maybe I'm looking at it thinking he should be doing more, but it's just not enough for me. I mean, I know Martial can win you a game. Dan James, I don't think can.
No.
I don't care about shape and what your defensive abilities are. You need to be able to win a game if you're playing in that front line at Man United. And every single United forward of the past had something to bring to the party and could win us a game. I don't see it with Dan James. I don't see it with Mata anymore. Yeah, we're waiting to see. Greenwood's got it. Rashford's, well, he's exactly that. He doesn't do much, and then all of a sudden win you a game. He's at least got that in his locker, but I don't know, guys. It's a tough one to call, and there's a long way to go in this window, but the days are going to start ticking by. When this Euros finishes, what have we got left? Barely a month of the window, is it? When we finish with the Euros?
Yeah.
That's going to be a mental few weeks. The season would have started.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even touch on the goalkeepers again tonight. It's just impossible, isn't it? It's impossible right now. The biggest squad in the league on the most money, and we want all of them out. It's crazy, it is. But before we go, everyone can just go and settle into the rest of the weekend and watch the rest of today's Euros. Yep. Don't forget Mary's Scout Watch tonight on Holland. Hopefully, I guarantee that will be the best game so far. Honestly, though, every game that's been at night has been the best game, and that Holland team, there's nothing safe about it. It's just oozing quality.
Decent as well.
No mugs. But before we go, just going to go around the room again, just to give everyone a chance to shout out their socials. We've not had Tim on for a while. He's been hiding doing daddy daycare.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I know exactly what position you're in, mate. Oh, I can see. I bet the missus is on the other side of that camera, isn't she?
She's gone out to the shops because they just opened up here again in Canada. So I'm hemorrhaging money at the shops today and daddy daycare.
Tim, give the people a shout out to your channel because you do put out some good content as well, and obviously on your socials as well, mate. Please.
Yeah, mate. So the socials are Niagara MUFC for the supporters group over here in Niagara and Niagara Red, my personal one. The channel is Walking Down the Warwick Road. We've got a good show coming up at the end of the month. We're looking at the early 2000s era. I'll keep the season a surprise, I suppose, but we're looking at one of the seasons from that era, which should be good. And then we've got some other good stuff coming up with like fan culture through the years and support through United through the years, which should be good. So
it should be good and more relevant as soon as we get back to the stadiums, guys. Which is good.
Exactly.
Matic TV, say no more.
Yep. Matic TV,
YouTube. Saeed, is there clothing? Yeah. Is the clothing line out yet, mate, or is it still just on the brink?
You can pre-order it if you DM me on Instagram, and then hopefully it'll be out by the 28th. Hopefully we should have it live. Should be able to get it on Shopify and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
And the name?
La Familia.
La Familia. So just so everybody knows, the new sponsor on Matic TV, La Familia. Yeah. It's all
La Familia. That's it. That's it, mate.
Mary. Oh, it's good to have you on again, Mary. We've missed your input. Just give the people a shout out to the
She Devils United.
She Devils United. Go on, Mary.
I'm doing
shout them out
live
again.
watch-alongs every day for the Euros. We're missing out. Well, you might want to turn down your volume just a little bit because it does get loud, and I'll be doing a lunchtime live tomorrow. So you get 2 shows tomorrow. She Devils United.
Are you done yet? Yes.
And Keen, one of the hardest working guys on YouTube. Always there, always available. Always messing around with his hair. Keen, give the people a shout out to your socials and your channel, mate, please.
Yeah, so you can give me a follow on Twitter at Keen_Franey. I was on a bit of a Twitter ban. I finally got Twitter to suspend me, so I know I was doing something right.
Sorry, mate.
And yeah, Tim
Like
was
a
involved in
badge
that, guys. And also catch the YouTube channel over the Weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. I'm speaking to writer, Manchester United writer Wayne Barton tomorrow, and we'll be talking about Man United season and also his involvement in the George Best documentary as well. So that's live tomorrow at 5:30. So do check that out.
Guys, follow all of these guys and get onto their channels. It's not about the popular ones with all the big subscribers and all the big bollocks news, because that's what it is. There's better content on these guys' channels, believe me. It's what's more important. Support your local channel, support these guys' channels, get behind them, follow them, share them on all your socials as well, guys, because believe me, the content's twice as good as anything on the bigger channels. We're bored of it now. It's gone. We don't need that stuff. We just want our locals. That's what we want, guys. And again, also, everybody who's been in the chat, everyone who's super chatted, give the video a like, share, obviously subscribe to Adam Matic TV. I've done it. Saeed usually does that. I've done it.
Yeah, I always do that.
Guys, it's a bit of a mental one for all of us while the Euros are on, but let's not forget the bigger picture, which is United. And you know what? It's all linked together. Hopefully, come through the Euros, we get some business done, and we're all back at the stadiums as well next season. That's what we need anyway. Guys, for now, take it easy. Enjoy tonight's games, and we'll see you in the week. I'll keep you posted on the Transfer Bollocks show as and when. We may have some news this week. You never know. But for now, we're done. See you later, guys.